I was too young to be there in 65, but the last 25, 30 years, I've been part of leading the march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge that led to the signing, and was there the last time John Lewis was on that bridge alive. He held him up. And so I have on the live line one of the representatives from the House, the Texas House. She's Mihaela Pleșa, and she represents the 70th district. Thank you, representatives, for coming on. Am I saying your name correctly?
My name is Mihaela Pleșa. So excited to speak with you today and to get into some good trouble.
Yeah, that's right. Tell me what prompted you and your colleagues to leave Texas, so people that just don't follow the news as closely as you and I do will understand what is the reason that you felt that this had to be done.
Well, we all remember Donald Trump calling Georgia, the Secretary of State, and saying, I need to find 11,000 votes. And the Secretary of State said no. Well, now Donald Trump is calling the governor of Texas, and he's saying, I want 5 more congressional seats. It's just going to be a little change to our congressional map. And our governor, he said, sure, hold on. And instead of calling us back into a special session to deal with the catastrophic floods that we just experienced 1 month ago, where 130 Texans died, most of them children, they put 9 hearings on redistricting, creating a districts, majority people of color districts, and talking about and limiting our voice. And so this is undemocratic. This goes against not only the U.S. Constitution, the Voting Rights Act, and the Texas Constitution, but we get to just say no, and we are fighting back. This is not acceptable.
Now, I thought that was a very poignant point. They had the flood there. We saw it all over the world, 120 plus dead. They, instead of dealing with how to deal with flood relief and repairing where government failed in that situation of floods, they put on to change the congressional districts, mostly of people of color. So it shows there's a political agenda called directly by President Trump in the Abbott. So when you all decided to leave the state, it was so they wouldn't have a quorum, so they couldn't vote on these things. What are the penalties they're charging or threatening to charge you that left the representatives like yourself that left the state?
Well, they're threatening all kinds of stuff, from having us arrested to vacating our seats and calling special elections to have us basically, unseated. But we are incurring $500 a day fines. And, I don't know if your listeners know, but Texas lawmakers, we're civilian lawmakers. It's not our first job to be a lawmaker. We tend to have, we're in the jobs, real estate agents, business owners. So we're making huge sacrifices being away from our families and our loved ones and our work as well. That it's not really about us and about the threat that the Republicans are making. It's about the voters and about what Republicans are trying to do to limit access to the ballot box and limit access to representation. And that's where it's getting locked up for, and that's where it's fighting for.
What will have to happen to get you all to return? What is the objective that they would have to meet in order to get y'all to come back and have a quorum?
Well, it's obvious that they have used AI to draw these maps with precision. They're putting together, lawmakers in the same district. They paired up the historic Sheila Jackson Lee and Sylvester Turner district with Al Green's district, making it a challenge for those individuals to have the representation that they've known for decades. They're putting Hispanic voters at a disadvantage in districts that are predominantly Anglo. And so it's going to take a lot. I mean, we're in negotiations trying to create fairer maps, but it's going to be a long fight because you know how it is. When you get your marching orders from Donald Trump, these Republicans, they fold like a chair.
That's for sure. Let me ask you, you all are at different parts of the country, and I assume rallying support. A lot of us that are listening to you around the country are definitely going to come out and support. Do you have any fear that they will be able to move forward with this redistricting without a quorum? Is there any legal way they can go around you all and legislate this without your present quorum?
There isn't a way for them to conduct business without at least 100 members on the House floor. And so over 50 Democratic caucus members have left. In Texas, we don't have what normal, like what would be called a filibuster, right? Where one can speak for hours and hours to prevent something from going. So the quorum break is our form of filibustering. So that's what we're doing. We haven't vacated our seats. We haven't abandoned our constituents. As a matter of fact, it's Governor Abbott who's abandoned his constituents for Donald Trump.
And lastly, I think that it is important on this day that we commemorate the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. As one on the front lines now, as John Lewis and Hosea Williams and others were 60 years ago, what does this mean to you personally, Congresswoman, that you are involved in this?
Well, personally, I'm a first generation daughter of immigrant parents. My family fled from Eastern Europe. So my family's been fighting fascism for generations. And I'm just proud to stand on the shoulders of so many that have come before me, like my grandparents, like John Lewis, like you, sir, getting in that good trouble and making positive change for not just the people of Texas, but for the whole nation. Because this is not just a Texas issue. This is an issue for all Americans, all creeds and all colors. We need representation, not manipulation, and not political power grabs. And that's exactly what's happening in Texas. So I'm proud to join my colleagues to get into some good trouble for democracy and for America.
We're proud you took time to come on the show. Thank you for coming on, and I'm probably going to ask you or one of your colleagues to be on Politics Nation, my MSNBC show. We have to keep the issue out there. They'll try to bury the issue. We got to keep the issue out there as long as y'all are out there. We need the public attention on it. Thank you very much, State Representative of Texas, Mihaela Pleșa. Thank you very much.